Welcome to After the Flag, post-race after the Grand Prix of Catalonia, ending our latest triple header. I'm Steve Day, joined by Simon Crafar. We'll be going live over to Matt Birt shortly to hear from the top three on a day where Fabio Quartararo is back to his best. He is the winner here in Catalonia, a circuit he loves, ahead of two Suzuki. So good to see Suzuki's on the podium. Simon, not quite the race I think anyone was expecting here today.
No, well, a little bit less drama. I would have said less accidents as well, because so many riders said it's going to be hard to stay on the bike. I expected with 10 laps to go to have more front-end crashes, and it just, hats off to the guys for keeping it up, especially guys like Morbidelli who were clearly struggling, that they just stay on the bike. That's all they could do,
And you could see from the post-race celebrations from Fabio Quartararo just how much it meant to him. Clearly, there's been a few demons even entering his own mind there.
I didn't get to see them because I was running around pit lane, but I saw in his eyes, I think everyone did who watched the Parc Fermé, that it meant a lot to him. He's been struggling not being on the podium lately.
Credit to him as well. I said to Matt in the commentary box, he was behind Jack Miller, Valentino and Franco Morbidelli, so it's not like a pole to victory, a cruise. He's had to work hard to get through. Definitely,
and there was a period where he was pushing to get past them that I thought he may be one of the guys that falls, and because it's only a little mistake when you're trying to pass someone, you have to go, like we've seen, like, for example, John McPhee, you only have to make a small, push a little bit harder to get past someone, and it all goes wrong.
Talk to us about the Suzukis as well. We'll be hearing from them shortly. We always had a feeling that Joan Mir would definitely be in the hunt for the podium, perhaps the victory as well. But ultimately, Alex Rins as well, coming through from 13th. Outstanding job to have both of them on the podium for the first time since 2007 that we've seen two Suzukis on a podium as well.
That whole team was so happy. The Japanese, the European management, Davide Brivio, they were celebrating. They're going to have a big meal tonight. Yeah, good. I think they're reaping the rewards of their efforts the last couple of years, and as Joan has said, that the team, the bikes, it's proving that they've come up with the goods. I don't think anyone was super surprised to see them on the podium, because we saw in practice what both Joan Mir and Alex Rins could do on old soft tyres, and they were as fast as anyone. So it was just a matter of being close enough at the end to catch that podium.
Yeah, great ride from both of those. It's just proof again of just how far they've come, Suzuki as a manufacturer. And you just wonder what would be possible if they could both get those machines on the front row.
To be able to use that. I mean, majority of the others gets an advantage from putting a new tyre on, and they don't seem to be able to get the same advantage. And Joan Mir has mentioned a few times how even pushing the front when they get that extra rear grip, so he can't use it, So if they can figure that out, like I've said before, they're going to be dangerous.
A couple of other Yamaha riders to miss out. We'll go through a few more after the interviews as well. Valentino Rossi, bitterly disappointed because he just inherited second place. It was looking like he was going to be on his way to at least a second or third place there, and maybe even better, you never know.
I could feel all the Valentino fans around the world go, when he got up to second. But look at this. It's much like Bagnaia, the race before, how we really don't, it looks like he doesn't know what happened. It was just, it was super cold today, and that's the first time on the left. I'm wondering if that had something to do with it. I doubt there's something on the track. Yeah, really sad. He knows that today was his best opportunity in a very long time to have an awesome result.
Unfortunately for Franco Morbidelli, not quite able to hang on to the podium positions either.
Yeah, Frank, I wandered past the bike because I wanted to know whether it was a rear tyre dropping off. So I looked at that, and you as a rider, from years of experience, you can't always look at a tyre and tell. Like, I've come in and you know how riders wander around the back, and it was terrible and it looked fine. So it's very hard to tell, but the front was obviously worn on the right side.
He also has a massive moment going into turn one as well, where it looked like he lost control under braking. He looked like actually he was going to go into the back of Fabio Quartararo, so he had to sit up as well. And then just as he went to tip in, he lost the front.
Again, what happened there, I could see he braked aggressively enough that it looked like the front touched the bottom, the rear picked off the ground, then went out of line. When it came back, did that big wobble, he had to release the front brake to get back in control, and once you release, you have to pay that back further down, and he ran out really wide, did a great job of keeping it on the track, but as you guys picked, he got out on those dirty little marbles of rubber out wide and had a front loss. He's lucky to stay on.
Ultimately, it was a day for Yamaha and Suzuki's, but we should just give a shout out to the Pramac Ducati guys, because Jack Miller did his very best to hang on in there, and ultimately he's finished in 5th place. A solid job. And Pecco Bagnaia as well, coming from a few rows back.
My take on that is when two teammates that are great riders, like they're the best Ducati riders at the moment, Pecco and Jack finished together. They had a little bit different strategy. Jack was pushing harder in the beginning. Pecco, a little bit more easy in the beginning and came through strong at the end. But they ended up in the same place, didn't they? So it pretty much shows they got the best they could out of the Duke today.
We've got to talk about what happened to some of the other Ducatis as well, particularly as they went into turn 1 and turn 2. Andrea Dovizioso, the World Championship leader, that went up in smoke pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, you guys, I think, picked exactly what happened. You can't blame Petrucci at all for that. He just had a little moment on the left side, scared Zarco. I think he touched the brake and went down, took out.
What a shame for them. We'll try and analyse a bit more in a moment. But let's cross over live now to Matt Birt. He's got, I'm sure, a very happy Alex Rins with him. His first podium of 2020. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. Alex, I can't believe it's 13 months since we last spoke to each other after a race. Your first podium since the British Grand Prix at Silverstone last year. Many congratulations, Alex. It's been quite a difficult 2020 with some of your injury problems. So what's your overwhelming emotion today? Is it happiness, relief, or a bit of both, I'd imagine?
Yeah, a bit of both of them. Sincerely, it was a long time that I don't be here, no. No, I'm so happy for this podium. We struggle a lot these last races, as you said about the shoulder injury I did about the heart crash I did in Jerez. I struggle a lot. Was hard for me because for my head looks like I'm already at 100% because I'm not feeling pain on the bone. But still, after 4 or 5 laps, I'm with the toe outside, like riding at the limit, and it's difficult to understand why, But yeah, I'm so happy. We work so hard in the track and outside the track to be at 100%. And I want to say thank you to my team, to Suzuki team, to my personal team, to be always there. To all the fans, that are in home for this COVID. It's a hard season.
Alex, we know Suzuki like to do it the hard way. Qualifying can be quite difficult. Today you started from 13th. Before the race, we knew you had great race pace from FP3 and FP4, but did you really think the podium was a serious option today?
My target was to start well, to recover positions on the first laps, and was like this. In the end, when I was there on the race, in the beginning I was struggling to overtake Paul. I think I lose a bit of time with him. But then I try to focus on myself, on my riding style, try to save the tire as maximum as possible, and in the end you can see the lap times. We were riding like 1-2 seconds slower. But yeah, we did it. I'm so happy because looks like we can hold the pace. We are struggling a lot on qualifying when we put new tire to be on the front. But then in the end of the race we are there. So we need to find a more close compromise.
Alex, you've done an amazing job to recover from that injury and a fantastic podium today. But I just want to talk quickly about Suzuki as well. A famous day for them. 2 riders on the podium in MotoGP for the first time since 2007, believe it or not. So what is your thoughts on the job that Suzuki have done to be so strong in 2020?
They are doing an incredible job. It's a shame to don't be on the podium on the last races because I had the potential, But they are doing a good job since I arrived in Suzuki. They were working really hard all the pre-seasons to bring us like new items, and I think for this year they did one big step.
And just quickly, Alex, Le Mans next up for you. It's going to be tricky with the cold conditions there, but the Suzuki traditionally does work well in France, so you must be confident of fighting at the front again in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, for sure. We will arrive full motivated. Now we have a couple of days in home to recover, to try to be more strong for Le Mans, and let's see how it goes.
Alex, great ride today. Don't keep us waiting another 13 months for another podium.
For sure not, for sure not. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Alex. Enjoy the celebrations. Back to you guys in the studio, Steve.
Thanks very much to Matt. Thanks always to Alex Rins as well. Good to see him back on the podium because, as he said, a couple of missed opportunities. He's the 13th different rider to be on the podium in this 2020 season. It's crazy, isn't it? But ultimately, a relief for him to be back because we all spoke about it, me, you and Matt, at the start of the year. The winter testing program was so strong for Suzuki, and Alex Rins was ultimately going to be one of the championship protagonists. So that,
wham.
Yeah, the wham, out for the first round. So that, as he said, would have been hard for him mentally. And then also when your teammate's beating you week in, week out.
And you have a Misano too. Alex didn't shine at all. I think that'll be very hard to take, and the young teammate, like you said, coming through, showing out basically, and to be fair, he's been properly injured, and I think an injury plays with your head a bit as well, and your training schedule. But the thing that I saw on his face in Parc Fermé, he looked totally drained. Like it might have been a mixture of relief but his face was just like. So, yeah.
And ultimately in the race, I mean, okay, Dovizioso and Zarco went down ahead of him, Valentino Rossi likewise, but that still means he had to make up 7 places in the race here today.
Yeah, and he wasn't far off his teammate, you know, and he got held up by Pole, so yeah, a very impressive job. And yeah, he had to come past more people, so to be that close to your teammate who put a great job together is impressive. Yeah, I saw all this. I was trying to get Davide Brivio, and they're so happy. Even the Japanese were yeah.
It's great to see the blue bikes actually both up on the podium there. Credit to everyone behind the scenes as well. Davide Brivio, great job by him as ever.
It's not slow either. That's a long straight, and it was, you know, even behind Jack early in the race, maybe without full power, it was still hanging on really well.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job to get themselves onto the podium. Shinichi Sahara, Ken Kawachi. Let's not forget Sylvain Gintoli as well, the test rider who's been working tirelessly. I'm sure he enjoyed watching that one because sometimes they don't perhaps get the credit they deserve.
Yep. And finally, on top of all that, is 2 very talented guys and very good at managing, you know, tyres right to the end.
This is a live programme, so we'll be getting interviews in any second from Joan Mir and Fabio Quartararo, but we might just have time to quickly talk about Maverick Viñales. An absolutely shocking start from the moment the lights went out. It just couldn't really get it hooked up, that launch control system.
Oh, I was really, we were speaking about it last night, really waiting to see if they'd found that, you know, Sunday magic like they did in Misano. But this was back to the old one. But to be fair to Maverick, I think this was extra difficult conditions, you know. Everyone was talking, well, a lot of people were talking about front locking. He did in his debrief last night. Lack of grip, just trying to make the bike work here was not easy.
No, not easy at all. Well, there's a smile on the face of Joan Mir. 3 consecutive podiums for the number 36. He's second in the World Championship and he's standing by, waiting to talk to Matt.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. Joan, another incredible race for you here in Barcelona. From the 3rd row again to the podium. You were 3 years old, I think, back in 2000. The last time a Suzuki rider in the Premier class had 3 successive podium finishes. That's what you've done in this recent great run of form. How was today's race? Because it looked like it was quite tough.
It was tough for sure because we start always in the 3rd row and on the first lap you have to take a lot of risk and for sure at the moment it's okay, but there's moments when to start in that position some rider hit you and some crash like Dovizioso, no? What happened today with him? That now I saw the image. So I try to avoid this as much as I can because I try to overtook a lot of riders in the first 2 laps, in the first 2 corners, sorry. And then I start to when I was behind Miller, I already know that Miller always on the first laps is really strong. So I was behind him, just trying to don't lose a lot of time. And then when I see that everyone was dropping the tire, I was trying to manage in a good way, then to make a good speed and recover in positions. So it was close today for the victory, honestly. But today Fabio make a superb job. He just managed in a really good way the tire, and at the end he won.
It looked like he needed probably one more lap.
Yeah, but you know the race is only 24 laps and not 25, and he did it absolutely good job.
Was today another example of how important qualifying is? Because if you'd started even on the second row, that would have given you more potential perhaps to capitalise on the fact that Fabio was struggling in those later laps.
Yeah, because if in the first laps I'm in front of Miller, for example, I don't lose all the time that I lost overtaking him. And for sure this make the difference to win today. And anyway, but it is like this. We have to improve the qualifying. It's something that we already know, and we are working on it.
Just want to quickly talk about Suzuki. They've done a great job with you over the last couple of years, helping you become a top MotoGP rider. But today was their first double podium since Misano in 2007, 13 years ago. We saw what it meant to the team in Parc Fermé. But what would you like to say about the job that Suzuki's doing so at the moment? Because their 2020 GSX-RR looks like a phenomenal motorcycle.
Yeah, they make a really good job because you know what the philosophy of Suzuki to take young riders, growing with them is something that at the end have his recompensa. He get back all the strength and the strength that he put on this project, no? And now we start to see the results in this year, no? That I'm strong. Also, Alex is strong, and we are doing both a great job and improving the Suzuki level race by race, and at the end the results are really good.
Just quickly on Le Mans, of course, Fabio will take a lot of power from this result. He'll be desperate to do well in his home Grand Prix as well. How do you think you and the Suzuki will perform in a couple of weeks' time? Because it's very close at the top of the championship. You're only 8 points behind.
Yeah, well, I think everybody knows that Le Mans will be really difficult because of the temperature. The motorbike don't like a lot the cold, so in Le Mans, every one of us we will struggle a little bit for that reason. But it's important to continue in this line, to try to score as many points as possible, give our 100%, and then at the end of the race we will see.
Well, it was cold today, but you were red hot out on circuit. Congratulations, Joan. Yet another podium. You're right in this championship battle. We'll see you in France in a couple of weeks' time. Many congratulations. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. You can see as well, he knows he's in that championship battle.
I was thinking of something else. As he knows he's going to win races, you know.
Yeah.
Look, this is the third after the flag in a row. I can't avoid bigging up Joan. He is awesome. I mean, he's my neighbour. I could almost throw a cricket ball, you know, and hit his house. I call him neighbour, not Joan. But that's not why I'm a fan. It's how he is, how clever he is, and I am so excited about guys like him, Brad, Binder. In a year or two, we're going to see them fighting for wins, and they're going to come more than one, you know.
No, it's fantastic work from Suzuki, from Joan Mir as well. But the happiest man in Barcelona today is definitely Fabio Quartararo. He's back to winning ways. He needed that. He wanted it. And he's delighted. He's with Matt Birt right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. Yeah, Fabio is back to his best at his beloved Barcelona. Fabio, your first Grand Prix victory here in 2018. That started really your journey to MotoGP, and now here you are 2 years later, back leading the World Championship, back on the top step of the podium, and we saw what it meant to you after the race as well. How important was it today to win after that difficult period you've had lately?
Oof, was the best moment of my life, honestly. Better than both Jerez, because you know, when you arrive in a good moment and you win, you expect and you know that you're gonna do it well. But then you have 5 races in a row that you are doing not so great, and it arrived a victory, even not a podium, the victory directly is amazing, and yes, a lot of emotion, thinking of also for my family that was watching me. I talked to my brother just before the start, because I came back to my office and he sent me a message. I answered him, so I was in full confidence today. I was feeling great, and honestly, it's great to be back in the front.
Great to see you back. The start was always going to be important with the 2 Ducatis behind you, Miller and Zarco. Franco, your teammate, got a sensational start, and then you got stuck behind Jack Miller. Were you worried at that point that, knowing how hard it is to overtake the Ducatis, that Franco would be able to make a break at the front?
Yes, I was a little bit worried, but at the end, Jack made a small mistake. I nearly lost the front, but I say I need to overtake him. And it was the best moment. I was scared him to overtake me on the straight, but really happy that we make a really great finish, and was the correct moment to overtake him, Vale and Franco.
How much were you able to relax when you realised that Valentino had crashed out of second place? You can never relax in MotoGP, but it did give you that comfortable cushion where perhaps the last 10 laps were a little bit easier than what you were expecting.
Honestly, I don't look the pit board during 9 or 8 laps. When I saw Franco, I said, okay, he's not gonna stop to be there. And I don't look until 5 or 6 laps, and then I see Franco 3.8 or 3.6. I say, wow. That's a bit strange. And then I saw that Mir was coming, and unfortunately I couldn't do nothing because my rear tire was totally destroyed, and I was pushing at my maximum. It's not that I really save at the end. So calculated in the best moment, because one more lap and I finished second for sure. So yeah, so happy to be in the first position and be back on the podium.
This championship we know is crazy. It's probably going to go to the last race in Portimao, but crucially you're back at the top now after the unlucky incident for Andrea Dovizioso. Valentino made a mistake, Miguel Oliveira made a mistake as well. So what are you feeling now you're back at the top of the championship? How do you make sure that you stay there for the next 6 races?
To make sure, we never know, but let's say to try to fight for the victory will be so important. I think we are in a good position right now. So I will give my maximum. My team, my family, my people know how much I work to be here, and I will give it my 100% until Portimao. So that's for sure. I will give my 100%.
We know it's tough times this year with COVID-19, but the good news is 5,000 fans, it looks like, will be allowed to come into Le Mans in a couple of weeks' time. Most of them, I'm sure, will be supporting you. So what's it like going home to France, Le Mans, as the MotoGP World Championship leader? That must be a special feeling. Yeah,
so special. I think it's special to be championship leader in every condition, to be in France or whatever in the country it is. But I can say that was so good to be. To win today, to take back the championship lead, and also to arrive in France with the perfect condition.
Always great to see a top rider come back to the top, Fabio. Many congratulations today. You did a great job.
Thank
back
you
to you
very much.
guys in the studio.
Yeah, thanks to Fabio, thanks to Matt Birt. Wow, the greatest moment of his life. It just shows you what perhaps mentally he's put himself through. Simon, you would know a bit more than most what it's like when your back's been against the wall and then you can pitch that great performance, because not everyone from outside can see inside how hard you're working for it.
That's a good point. You know, I really enjoyed that, listening to him. I think racing, just like life, you know, you don't learn much from the good times. You learn them from the bad times.
Good point,
you know?
yeah.
And you see riders like young riders like him go through a bad period and pop back out. Each time they do that, they look more forged, you know, more finished product. And yeah, much like people in life, you know, I'm really happy for him.
I'm going to use that line in the press conference in a minute. Thanks for that, Si. Really appreciate that. So it was a fascinating race here today. Fabio Quartararo then taking control of the World Championship. We mentioned Maverick Viñales struggling, although he's still, I think, third in the World Championship. Just behind the two Pramac riders, we had Taka Nakagami, another top 10 finish for Taka, although it looked like at the end he was pretty drained. Danilo Petrucci was in 8th. It doesn't sound like much of a result on paper, but he was really fast in the middle of the race, actually. One of the fastest riders out on circuit, so that might give him a bit of a boost.
And all weekend. You know, he'd been going well all weekend, even as team manager. Tardozzi said he's finally figured out what they've been trying to teach him to use on the Duke, you know, and it was something to do with braking. I think they've learnt from Pecco, and he's figuring that out. So.
And just a word on KTM as well. At the start of the weekend, Pol Espargaro said, we're going to struggle here. We always have. And ultimately, he was right. It's a bit of a shame. We were expecting perhaps just a touch more from them.
I think it was a very tough and disappointing overall weekend for KTM. You know, I genuinely thought they would do better here, but like I always say, they are a very dangerous manufacturer. They will learn from this, and I doubt they'll come back here next year and have such a rough time, you know.
Well, Simon, thanks for your thoughts today. Thanks for the last 3 weeks as well. Time for us to have a well-earned break. Press conference is about to start as well. Hope you enjoyed yourself so far this weekend. And we're going to take a break now. Fabio Quartararo will head home as the World Championship leader. We'll see you in France.